Welcome back to the big board. We're still working our way through Korsun Pocket 2 and a couple of errata comments for my gameplay. The big issue that I mentioned in a note in the prior video in the description section is that I missed releasing the Soviet units on the 6th of February AM turn. Now the good news is that being a solo player and running this thing by myself, it was easy enough for me to pause everything, rewind part of the German turn, leaving pretty much this section as is for the PM turn on the 6th, and then we refocused our attention down here. Now I did bring in the reinforcements, but I moved them too far because I forgot we had to be in column at the end of the map, and there's rules around reinforcement entrance. And so we've got this 6th AM and PM turns, reinforcements all kind of backed up because they all have to come in on this S zone. This is called the S zone here, that red bar. You can't see the S because it's on the next map. They all have to come in here. Now I could wait a turn and bring them in down here on the T zone, I guess. I'm not sure whether that's a smart thing to do or not. It might well be a smart thing to do. So I may pull one of those divisions as an infantry division down there off and bring them in here or something. Not sure. Got to work that out. Now, what was interesting though was during the AM turn, and we're about to do the PM turn for the Soviets, is they pressed across here and made several what I would call fairly weak attacks. They were 1-to-1s, 2-to-1s. There may have been a 3-to-1 in here somewhere. They were quite successful here. There was a unit here that got forced to retreat. This is the 133rd Division. They pushed in and had some supporting elements from 40th Army, some AT guns. Did okay, but 1st Panzer, in its revised move that brought them back to here, reacted, pushed those guys back. Now, they are not in a position yet to do anything here. These guys are moving this way, but they're not in a position to support or service this 42nd Guards attempted breakthrough here. They killed the unit in the fortress, and we're in dire straits there. I've got very little. I've pulled away from the bridge and blown the bridge and sort of rotated around to here, snuck an engineering unit into the fortress there. That'll boost the defense there. They'll hold one more turn. It's just a matter then if these 2 battalions can add the extra weight that's needed to sort of knock this attack on its head a little bit. And we'll probably bring whatever air we can. We'll bring that into the equation, and we'll kind of go from there. So a bit of a messy turn, but I wanted to kind of give you guys an update on what was going on. We're seeing, an encroachment here, and if we can cut supply if the Soviets can cut supply for the Germans off the map, right? So getting some units in, probably, pardon me for the camera, somewhere in around this area. If we could cut this section of the road off, it really blocks all of the supply avenues headed off the map. I'll just step this up. So all of these areas here really rely on these road junctions here, and there are no other road junctions that support us that we have access to or control of over on the right hand side of the map. So this, what is that town here? Ulyankovka here, Bagva, Rosino, those areas there are pretty critical. That's probably why this is Rosino here is fortified, so that it can be well defended. Anyway, that's what's going on. Now we do have a breach across the river, right? So I think historically that happened a little bit later. There was a puncture on the river line here, and was not well supported, and was obviously not in as much force as I've managed to do. But like I said, I've been thinking about this and how to try to achieve the objective, because it's the limited objective. It's certainly not going for gold, trying to get the decisive victory and capture all these towns. I don't know that that's possible, particularly given the length of the scenario. Although I will say this about the game in general: the CRT is very heavily, I would argue, very heavily weighted towards being an attacker-friendly CRT. 3-to-1 attacks only give you 2 chances in 6 of taking either a retreat. There's no step losses for that. 2-to-1, you have 1 chance in 6 of taking a step loss as an attacker, and then a 4-to-1, you have 1 chance of taking a retreat. So if you get, and it's quite easy to do, if you can get 4-to-1 plus on any of these attacks, you are going to force the defender to retreat between 1 and 3 hexes and potentially lose a step, mandatory step loss, and or they can take step losses to not retreat, right? So it's pretty friendly to the attacker as I'm seeing this now, and I can see why, if that's what the mode is for the entire scenario for the campaign, I can see why the Germans tried to make the effort to do the breakthrough, because they can smash and grab here. That's going to change once we see these forces start to make themselves felt, right? There's some pretty decent attack combat values. In fact, that guy shouldn't be stacked, but all these guys here are pretty decent, both with their armor bonuses, right, and with their combat values and defensive values. Anyway, we've got to get all those guys on the map. I need to probably pause the video here and think about how we can do that, and we'll catch up with you guys later. Roll dice, have a fun July 4th.